Welcome to a great another part of what I hated about school, part 3. So this one's a little bit, just a bit more intense. So I'm not sure if you guys remember that I talked about some months ago, I think it's been a while, 6 months ago or so, about my toxic school and that ended up selling out to a multi-level marketing scheme. And so it gets even deeper than that. So the middle school and high school I went to, they were both together in one giant building. But obviously they were just separate with the hallways that there's a long hallway that connected to the high school and middle school. So um some of the teachers, not all of them, and most of the students were really toxic. And so I had this teacher who, well, obviously didn't like me. It was this math teacher I had when I was in 7th grade, and she absolutely disliked me. And I just never understood why. I was a bit hyper and kind of clownish at times, but there were people that just acted worse, but she just didn't like me. And also because I wasn't really that good. I struggled with my grades at the time, and she ended up like judging me that, well, ended up saying I wasn't going to have a good future, and so and so. And so I was, and that in 7th grade was when I fully got immersed into special education for my conditions, with my OCD, anxiety, autism, etc., etc. There's another kid. He, I'll call him Clay, because why not? He seems like a Clay. Well, that's not his real name, by the way. Clay, he was a very smart guy, very very smart. I guess still is, because he ended up studying, I think, computer engineering or software engineering. I don't remember, but he's always been smart. But I think he was also in special education, if I can remember, because he was in a few of my special education classes. Yeah, sounds about right. But he was really mean to me, even though I was always very nice to him the entire time. And the meaner he got, I got creative. So his real name had a name that kind of sounded like a bit funny. It had a bit of a, if you twisted it a little bit, it had an inappropriate term. And so I started using that new inappropriate name for him, making fun of him. And obviously he didn't like it. And that made him even angrier. And he started playing victim. And I'm like, well, you're so mean to me. He threatened to like hit me or get someone to, he would threaten to have one of his friends RAPE me. Very horrible things. And so I would just be so nice, and he would make fun of me for my niceness. And then he also talked about how his dad pressured him to be smart, and because his dad was like the head of some kind of like a IT or a computer thing. I have no idea. I don't remember. And I realize guys with like daddy issues like that, they usually are so frustrated and so mean to others that treat them well, or just simply mistreating. It's just weird. But Clay was, I guess he was just not exactly greatly well known in the school. But at the same time, he did really excellent in schoolwork. And so one day, his other classmates in that math class would work together with Clay because he was struggling on some math. And Clay would help him out. I mean, obviously, he was a smart guy. And so the other guy, let's name him, let's name him Tony. Yeah, Tony. I'm trying to remember all the names off the top of my list so I don't mix up other people with others. But Tony, he was also extremely mean to me. I was a little bit weird. I was a bit clownish with him, with Tony, but he really was so sensitive and very mean, very very mean. And I guess he also got really annoyed with my disorders, and I would try to isolate myself with him. But sometimes school, school is school. Teachers would make you work with someone that you don't like, or this. For example, Tony would be just way too exaggerated loud, and I was sensitive to noises, and I still am, but back then it was worse, mostly with my sensory issues. And I would just glare at him to just calm down, and because since he was the cool kid and popular too, he was voted, I guess, great comedian of the school or something like that back in high school, but I don't remember. But yeah, he was just really mean, a mean guy. Like the mean girl, but he was the mean guy. Anyways, one of the mean guys. There's still a huge list. But I forgot what name I put. What did I put? Did I put Tony or give me a second? Yes, Tony. I named him Tony. And so basically, I don't know how he would get anything he wanted. At first he struggled, and then he eventually got better. But this was because of the weird favoritism the school had in the association and the culture they had. It was just really toxic, and I'll just get into it really soon. So this is a bit of an outline of what was really going on in the system. And so when Tony and Clay collaborated to just, study, I needed help as well. And I asked Clay for help, and he was just, at first he tried to, because the teacher tried to convince them, like, hey, this would do good for your, I guess, quote unquote resume in the future. So, not because she actually cared. But Clay just agreed, and I was just, this is where it hurts me so much. Is I would listen, follow, listen. It was just the process of trial and error. A part of that why Clay quit on me was because I was struggling a bit too hard. The other thing is because at the time I lacked discipline, but I was trying my very best. Eventually, obviously, I got better and graduated with a really good grade point average. But when he was talking at the same time with Tony, they got along really well, and they were just goofing around. And even though Tony caught up a little bit more than I did, just a bit more, it just wasn't really, I don't know if the judgment of Clay was just his ego so inflated or something, but he didn't want to continue to tutor me because I was quote unquote uncool and weird and gross, and I was really, really overweight back then. I was almost 200 pounds at the time. And then at the age of 15, I got to that point. It was just a really dark period for me. But Clay and Tony were just like saying I wasn't socially cool enough to understand the rhythm of tutoring, even though tutoring is tutoring. And I really needed the help. And they were one of the smarter guys that some of the other teachers really couldn't exactly help me out. At least the teachers that I was associated with and connected well with. Because there were some teachers that were just simply just too fast with their teaching method. And they had other things to do, like every other adult had to do. And since Clay was a school kid like me, we could have he could have been a bit more patient, and he also had time. He definitely had time to help me out. But the worst part of it was when the teachers around that circle witnessing what was happening, they agreed with Clay. They agreed that I was just not only they were just saying that it was more than just being smart, that I had to be cookie cutter perfect socially. like the rest of everyone else in order to get to the top. And literally just cookie cutter perfect. That was what really hit the last nail in the coffin for me. And I made a vow for myself at that day that I would do everything as much as I can by myself, because that was way too far. And there were many other examples, but that was what really screwed me up in the head and worsened so many things. And I was just only 13 at the time. Why would you do that? Why would you support a very cruel way, like sorority level or like frat boy level, to at least try to get an education? And this still keeps happening to this day when it comes to universities and all that kind of thing. If you want access, you gotta go through this ritual and humiliate yourself, and you'll never get to the top because they're always gonna push you down. And so that's kind of one of the things I hate about my school. And the other part, well, this other part is really much more messed up. So trigger warning, this next part talks about suicide. And if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, just that's the end of this video for you then. But other than that, I'm going to continue with the next story. So this next story, true story, is that when I was between, which years? I'm trying to remember. Between my sophomore and my junior year of summer, this was like the same year when Robin Williams' death occurred. And I think this happened when Robin died. It was August of 2014, I think. I'm breathing. Okay. Yes, he passed away. Oh yeah, August of 2014. Well, 2 months before then. So it was a little bit weird and freaky. So my high school, this is when I was in high school, but they're same district, same, toxicity. But the staff members were usually very shady. They had a shady business, were very mean to one another. But behind closed doors, to the students and to the public, they acted very nice and bright and basically fake, plastic. And an incident happened, I think in around June or July of 2014, so before Robin's death. But I know, it must be weird. You're like, oh, what does this have anything to do with Robin Williams? Well, it's no connection with him at all, but I found it to be a really weird coincidence that the dean of the high school I went to, one of the dean, he committed suicide. And the way he did it was quite similar to how Robin did it. And it was just a shock, but also kind of like a lot of the staff had a lot of guilt. And one of them ended up speaking out that they had so much guilt, they ended up saying, oh, this was my fault. The last time I spoke to him, we had a horrible fight. And that guy, he became the new dean of the school, basically taking his position. I mean, honestly, realizing how messed up that was. Imagine just making someone kill themselves and then just come in and replace, even though he kept saying, oh, I felt so bad, so an honor to him, that kind of thing. And that new dean, he was the same dean that falsely accused me of stealing some cell phones when I was in high school. And obviously the evidence pointed out that I didn't do it. But oh my gosh, that was a huge mess. I was falsely accused for something I did. It was a horrible, for a crime of stealing. I'm too dumb to even steal a pen. But no, in all reality, in all seriousness, to the point that sometimes the school system, well, at least at that district, and many other school systems as well, and the American education system itself, so messed up to the point of not doing anything. Imagine how many, if there are staff not only just quitting, but also taking their own lives because of students and because of other staff. Imagine the students themselves. Imagine how many stories they keep covering up in the shady business, and just, absolute insanity. Absolutely, absolute injustice. And I was one of those victims that almost took my life as well, years ago. And the torment does not go away. The PTSD is a real thing that develops, and I I mean, it's going slowly starting to go downhill. Firstly, when with selling out with a multi-level marketing scheme, but also, I don't know. I don't know. Very weird. And this just goes with so many other things in life, not just school, but workplaces, work environments, and um, I mean, humans are just so evil that it's coming to a point where the world is slowly ending and crumbling. I mean, look where we are now. And who knows? This isn't me just saying, oh, I've lost faith in humanity, but I mean, it's already been long gone, but it makes me think, do we really deserve at least a good life, or do we really? I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah. So that'll be all for today's video. I hope you all liked it, and making another video. Hopefully that'll come out soon, and I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.